because back to about the whole Nick Casario thing, and one of the questions is, will he try to overthink this number one pick? People talk about Bryce Young, especially about his stature and things like that. And there's a prospect out there that I can see people going gaga over. I can see scouts and general managers just foaming at the mouth over. And I want to make sure I put this out there. I'm the one to come up with this nickname. AR-15, Anthony Richardson, the quarterback out of Florida. The guy is 6'4", I think it's like 230, and runs a legit 4.4. Like, this is not old. Like he actually runs a legit 4.4. So you're talking about a guy who's 6'4", has a big, strong arm. Now, he was highly inaccurate. He made plays, but he was highly inaccurate. And I've even seen the Texans being linked to him if Nick Casario doesn't want to go quarterback with the first pick because of the inconsistencies when it comes to C.J. Stroud, the height stature when it comes, the height and weight stature when it comes to Bryce Young, and just like I said, he's a guy I can see scouts going gaga over because when they see him, especially in person at the pro day, at the combine, in shorts and able to run and throw the football because he has a cannon for an arm. Could a general manager like Nick Casario or any general manager at all go just overthink some things and go and take probably the biggest wild card in the draft in Anthony Richardson?
Man, look, for all you people, we seeing you on Twitter, we seeing all these people who paying for checks with blue check marks on Twitter. We see all of y'all. I love Anthony Richardson. We were talking about him and KJ Jefferson tough before the season started in Arkansas. I personally would have liked to see AR-15, as we calling them now, to be able to go one more year in Florida. And it's only just to fix just some things mechanically. I think he can win some big games. The SEC is deep. Like, it's just a deep conference. You know what I'm saying? You can win and you can lose games at the drop of a hat. You can, he was in a lot of games. His very first game of the season, with the play that he made, that still sticks out in our mind. He's able to do some special things. He's hard to go down. He reminds me of a Cam Newton, with a little bit more athleticism, definitely faster. And big strong guy, he can shed blocks. I think he can protect himself the right way and probably won't put himself in as much harm as Cam Newton did over his illustrious career. But undoubtedly, it's Bryce Young. Bryce Young undoubtedly is the man for the job.
Right.
To hell with his size. You got fun-sized quarterbacks all over the league right now, like Kyler Murray. You got Russell Wilson is the shell of himself, but nobody is saying Russell Wilson is trash and Russell Wilson can't throw the football because of his size. Protects himself, and I see Bryce Young protecting himself the very same way that Russell Wilson does. What he's able to do, he's able to perform outside of the pocket like Deshaun Watson a few years ago with the Houston Texans. He's able to keep his eyes down the field. He's able to assess danger. He's able to slide, make sure that he goes out of bounds. He's not putting his body in harm's way. He has phenomenal touch. And anybody out here saying that this man does not have touch, that this man is not throwing touchdowns, he doesn't even have the greatest receiver group that Tua, Mac Jones, and Jalen Hurts even got to benefit from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got to play with John Mechie. Yeah, he practically made Jameson Williams into a top 10 pick after John Mechie went down. And now, coming this next offseason, once he's back and being paired up with Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, and what Jared Goff and all them boys are doing in there with the Detroit Lions right now, the Detroit Lions are looking like a scary damn team. They record may say otherwise, but don't get it twisted.
They run outside the playoffs. they like right on the outside. Like if they win a couple more games, they can get, especially in the NFC, they can get in. Like they could possibly get in. And I feel like that's a team that don't nobody want to get in. Because that's one of those teams, they have a good enough offense that they can sneak up and pull a rabbit out their ass and win them a game or two. Like Detroit can sneak up and get somebody.
Main reason why they record looks even remotely the way that it does is because of injuries that they had early in the season. You lost Amon-Ra for about 3 or 4 games. You lost Swift for 6 games.
Right.
You lost a lot of people at the worst times that you possibly could have had, but they did a good job drafting. They have the guys that they got are impact players. Jared Goff is playing as good as he could with the circumstances, and that's what we need in Bryce Young. If it comes in the danger of the fact that you're going to I love C.J. Stroud. Phenomenal touch. Big body. He's not able to do as much out of the pocket, and I think that would be his only knock against him from me. They both can play well. Against top 5 conference players, I think he's 3-1. You know what I'm saying? So, when you sit here and people want to talk about these quarterbacks, they go into bowl games. They're making their schools relevant. And I don't want to hear any damn thing about, if he went to Alabama, he's not good. Oh, he went to Ohio State. Ohio State quarterbacks is trash. Man, the hell with all that. Josh Allen came from Wyoming. Who the hell came out of Wyoming? Nobody.
Mahomes came out of Texas Tech. Who came out of Texas Tech before Mahomes?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody. I don't want to hear nothing about that. Who the hell came out of Louisville? Who the hell came out of Louisville before Lamar Jackson, really? Who the hell came out of Clemson before Deshaun Watson? Seriously. Not Taj Boyd. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. You can find a quarterback from any school, from any conference, from any division. I don't care about quarterbacks. When you find them, and people overanalyze, and too many people put their hands, and people put horrible information out there, and they try to discount these dudes for whatever type of agenda that they have. At the end of the day, if you're going by tape alone, it's no damn way that you're gonna sit here and tell me that I was about to say Lamar Jackson, that Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, and Bryce Young are not at the top of this class. And let me say this, because we're gonna put this out there too. Anytime that the masses are saying that, hey, this ain't a good draft class, those are the best draft classes. Don't believe me? What was they saying about the 2017 draft class that had Patty Mahomes and Deshaun Watson?
Yep.
What was they saying about Deshaun Watson? He needed to pick up more weight. He can't make throws from the pocket.
He didn't have a good arm.
He doesn't have touch. He doesn't have arm. He has a noodle arm.
And they saying
about Patrick Mahomes.
He plays sporadic. He was a system quarterback. His tape reminds them of Johnny Manziel, where he just runs around all the way. And yes, he has a good enough arm, but he lacks the focus and able to read the defense when he shreds defenses. But he can't read defense.
Go on and on. Remember the 2021 class that they said that was supposed to be so phenomenal? Trevor Lawrence is the greatest quarterback that they've ever seen in scouting. Guess what? That guy sucks. Sucks. Bro, Mac Jones. Mac Jones is the only exception from that class. Mac Jones took his team to the playoffs in his rookie season after the GOAT just left. So he's the only. Justin Fields is ascending. I like what people like. People can try to crap all over Justin Fields all they want, man. He for one, he plays for Chicago. They've never invested in a quarterback like him ever. So he's something very new to their city that they've never had. So they're going to try to harness and try to find the best ways to get him implemented. But once that young man gets it, everybody from this draft class will be like, because I think he'll be the best from that rookie class. Davis Mills sucks. Zach Wilson got projected out of nowhere the same way that Mitchell Trubisky did, which is what they're trying to do to Will Levis now in this draft. In case you didn't know, Grayson McCall is better than him. AR-15 is better than him. I can make a case that Drake May and all of these guys that they're talking about now, Caleb Williams, all of these guys that people want to draft. And if you put off drafting a quarterback with what you have right now, with all of the money that you're going to end up having a year from now, you would be a damn fool not to invest in a top-tier quarterback and disregard all these notions that somehow there is no quarterback school. You know, like how you have DB University, wide receiver university, and all of that. There is no quarterback university.
It's not.
There isn't one.
Yeah, there's not one. There's not a quarterback university.
There is one because you can kind of say that Oklahoma of the last 3 to 4 years is the only school who has pumped out Jalen Hurts, who's active in the game. I understand Baker Mayfield got cut, but people was all on Baker Mayfield's nuts just a couple of years ago because he was performing his first 2 years, I guess. And Kyler Murray. I understand the jury is out on him. That's about the only school I can say that's even remotely QB university if we just going by the last 5 years, maybe. But I understand if people want to tell it, but you get what I'm trying.
No, I get what you're saying, but I think that would be more so Lincoln Riley because that's what they have. Because another thing they also have in common is that none of those guys originated from those schools. Baker originated from Tech.
It's true.
Kyler Murray originated from A&M, and Jalen Hurts won the national championship at Alabama. Because Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Matt Jones were on the same. They were all together winning a national championship. They were on one national championship team together.
Oh, and before y'all want to crap on Ohio State quarterbacks, before Joey B went to LSU, where was he at again?
He was at Ohio State, and I think that's who C.J. Stroud. I think that C.J. Stroud's comp is Joe Burrow. Him and Joe Burrow play alike. C.J. does not play like Justin Fields or Terrell Pryor or not Lamar Miller, but
Lamar Jackson.
Miller. That was with the Texans. That was a receiver. Braxton Miller, yeah. Braxton Miller. Like, he doesn't play the same type of play style that those guys play. He plays more so like Joe Burrow. So this is the thing. And this is the thing, especially I do think that, like, I think that it's clearly CJ, it's clearly Bryce and CJ. I have Bryce ahead of CJ. I want to see what CJ is going to do against Georgia. That's a big test for me. I want to see what CJ is going to do against Georgia. That's a big test for me. But, and like I said, I like Hendon Hooker, but he's going to be coming off an ACL injury, and he's also is going to be 25, and this is coming off the ACL. We probably won't see him until he's 26. So even though age really doesn't concern me a lot, but you have to, it's something that you just have to know inside the factor. I like that the tools that Anthony Richardson have, it interests me.
Oh,
but
yeah.
not enough to pass on Bryce or CJ. And if anybody who is saying these type of things are insane. You are completely insane. Those comments are asinine. Anybody who says to put off drafting the quarterback with the first pick, they should put off to next year. I trust your football knowledge. That makes me trust. That makes me worry about your football knowledge. Not trust. I completely distrust your football knowledge. And if you say I don't like none of these quarterbacks, in the draft, then I completely do not trust your evaluation, because when you look at things on the field, there's nothing on the field. When you watch the tape that says that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are not first round top 10 quarterbacks. There's nothing on tape that says that. And if a quarterback is willing to be taken in the top 10, they're damn sure will be able to take with the first pick in the draft if you have said pick. That's good. That's point blank, period.
Didn't Utah just beat the hell out of USC? Didn't they just beat the brakes off of Caleb Williams?
Yep.
Beat the brakes off of him. Like, Caleb Williams. USC. See, everybody wants to preach Ohio State and Alabama. What the hell is USC done at quarterback? Matt Leinart? Mark Sanchez? Are you serious? What?
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold? Like, get out of here. Get out of here. Drake May, I like Drake May. I like Drake May. I like what they're doing with Drake May in North Carolina. He's better than Will Levis to me. I like him better than Will Levis. Will Levis is a turnover machine. Bro, like he sucks. I mean, I understand he got a big arm, but he doesn't make good decisions.
And like I said, and agree, honestly, like, and that's the reason why I really wish that Anthony Richardson would stay in college, because if he would stay in college, he would damn sure be the front runner for the Heisman, and I think he would have been that chance.
Yeah.
I think he would have a chance to be a legitimate number 1 overall draft pick if he would have went to school for another year and just to clean up, like you say, some accuracy issues, able to throw with touch. If he were able to improve as a passer, because look, Lamar Jackson won the Heisman his sophomore year.
Yep.
His last year in school, his junior year, he completely changed the way he passed. He still had to clean up when he got to the NFL, but he made leaps and bounds from his Heisman Trophy year to his next year, and was still drafted with the last pick of the first round. And we've seen what he's done, got the gate, won an MVP, and he's improved as a passer. Especially this year, he's improved as a passer. So sometimes it takes that other year of school to be able to improve as a passer, and I believe that's something that Anthony Richardson could improve upon. I think there's quarterbacks we've seen before that, hey, if they would stay one more year in college, they could have got a little bit better at passing the football. And I think Anthony Richardson would have done better by doing that. Again, I ain't gonna knock nobody go out there and get no paper. You go out and get your paper. I ain't gonna knock nobody get your paper. I just don't want to see nobody overthink things. But I do think that he's possibly this draft's wild card, because I do think that people, scouts and teams and general managers is gonna watch him go to the combine, watch the pro day, and be like, man, I don't know, because his physical tools and traits are very intriguing. They make you okay. But those physical traits can also get you to pick a Zach Wilson too, because Zach Wilson got an arm. He can run around and do all type of spin move. Because if you go watch Zach Wilson tape at BYU, it's a couple times that he's made some passes where he'll split the defender, he'll split 2 defenders and make you jump out your seat. Like, oh shit, he made that throw.
Yeah.
But was on a consistent basis. No. Did he do it all the time?
No.
Because that's the thing about quarterback. It's not, can you make a good throw here and there? It's can you make it
do it enough to where the fans and the people can know that, like, hey, if this man do this, man, and you ain't checking for it, it's over with.
Right. Can you be consistent? Like that that's what a good quarterback is. It's not because he can make a splash play. Carson Wentz can make splash plays, but he's not consistent.
The makings of any consistent, notable top 5 quarterback, they all have these things. They can lead passes.
Mm-hmm.
They're accurate. They make sound decisions. Pocket awareness. Protect themselves. Protect the ball. You don't get all of that. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, they ball. Pocket awareness. Manipulating the pocket. Nobody in this draft is better than Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Nobody. I love C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has phenomenal footwork. Can move in the pocket, can stepping up in the pocket, moving around. They both have that, but Bryce Young got an element that when you see it, you just can't teach it. You can't take him down. He's strong for his size. And for that man to be his size, that boy got an arm on him. I don't know where he get it from. He just got it.
You do.
A man like that is dangerous in the red zone. Do you know what you can do in the red zone on the 5-yard line with a quarterback like Bryce Young?
And also have David Pierce in the background too? In the backfield, I mean?
I don't know. I don't understand, because if people love Deshaun Watson and the way that he played, when he was a Houston Texan, before all of the allegations, because if it wasn't for the allegations, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, and we'd be on a whole nother platform. Because before this year, who was I talking about? Who was my undoubted number 1? It was Will Anderson. You couldn't convince me otherwise that Will Anderson wasn't supposed to be the number 1 pick. Ask anybody. Will Anderson for weeks was my guy. And I started going to CJ, because I started seeing, it just became more evident. Before the season, I said this: I don't give a damn. Like, draft Will Anderson. Let Davis Mills suck and let him suck again and let him start the following season so that we could use all of the picks to be able to get somebody that we really need. After watching the man, I digress. I am not on that train. I hopped completely off of it. About 5 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I've been completely on the quarterback train, and it was going between CJ and these are the only two things that they have that match up against each other, and it is what you value. I value the playmaking ability of Bryce and what he can do outside of the pocket and what he can turn something into nothing, and what gets it and what makes him even more great in his. He did what Deshaun Watson did in his last season, and he did it throwing to nobody on them receivers. Jermaine Burton's about the only guy. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs was the ones who was wrecking shop for Alabama this year on offense. Yeah, they had another guy that was behind them because they always have a running back for community, and he always had good protection. But outside of that, he ain't had no tight end that was notable like that to be thrown in. He ain't got no Darnell Washington. He ain't got no Michael Mayer. He ain't got no Dalton Kincaid. He ain't got no Sam Laporta. He ain't got none of them guys on Alabama right now. And he got Bill O'Brien calling the plays. So he already understands an NFL offense. And if he can overcome and look that damn good with Bill O'Brien as his OC, and it's a reason that Alabama ain't won a damn thing over the last 2 years, major reason why Bill O'Brien's in the building. Name me one franchise that name all of those years that New England was going to the championship, and every time they lost, outside of the last time when he was the head coach of the Houston Texans, the Patriots lost. I'm not saying this because of him, but I understand it's a coincidence that every time you're a part of a Super Bowl or a college championship roster, that team loses. Wonder why. Digress. CJ is able to put the ball in places that a defender just can't reach. He just can't reach. You just can't reach. You see what he can do with elite talent. We all see what he's doing with Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. Bro, Marvin Harrison Jr. If he more than likely he's gonna be a top 3 pick next year. If he not, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, because if he could have came out this year, you could make a case that he's the top 2. Like, he's trumping a lot of guys with what he's been able to do with C.J. Stroud this year.
Yeah, I think if he was able to be eligible this year, I think with the first pick in the draft, I think you take CJ automatically, and then you make sure the second pick is to get Marvin Harrison Jr. to take the team them up, because you have a Bryce, Burrow, Jamar Chase type of combination. But yeah. I definitely think he's going to be a top pick in next year's draft, or at least the first receiver off the board. But man, like I said, I appreciate you coming on today, man. Anything you got to say before we go?
Man, look, all you people who talking about Bryce Young ain't the pick, go stick yourselves. Like, at the end of the day, you don't know what you're talking about. And I understand the people who would love for us to draft Jalen Carter, number 1, Will Anderson. Before the season, I would have been on board with y'all and say, I love Bryce Young, I love CJ, but I think we can hold off. Not because I think that Davis Mills is a good quarterback, but I think you could prioritize and you could just fix the rest of the defense. That way, when you do go to the offense, you can fully commit to everything that you need on that side of the football. But bombshells, Bryce Young is the pick. You do anything other than that, unless you're going to take C.J. Stroud, this franchise is going backwards, and you're going to be going in that direction for the next 6 years.
Yeah, I agree. You got to take Bryce Young with the pick. I say, appreciate you having me on, man. Hey, make sure y'all like, y'all share, y'all subscribe. Click that button, get more videos. I'll holla.